Prince Harry and Meghan Markle seem now out to destroy the royal family. Destroy it for cash. It's that craven. And this week they'll launch their new 8-part series on Netflix on their great love story. And it seems how the royals were so terrible to them. So if you want to see very rich and privileged people complaining for cash, playing the victim for hundreds of millions of dollars, this show is for you. Here's the trailer.
No one sees what's happening behind closed doors. I had to do everything I could to protect my family.
When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
Joining me from London is Tom Slater, editor of Spiked Online. Honestly, Tom, all those photos of, their agony and the soulful faces and the near tears and all this has really been sold as an attack on the royal family, of course. Is that how it seems to you?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's been their whole bit since they left the royal family. They want to paint it as an institution that has treated them badly, that is essentially rotten to the core. And it doesn't really stop at the royal family either. You see in that trailer piles of newspapers, this idea that a rabidly racist press hounded them out, of which there's no evidence of that kind of campaign. And another thing about Harry and Meghan doesn't get talked about a lot is they have said on occasion, particularly in that Oprah interview, Harry said that he didn't used to think the British public were bigoted, but his experience is now proved otherwise. So I think they're kind of feeding a kind of in liberal America at the moment, there's quite an appetite for kind of anti-Britishness, this idea that we are kind of racist and backward and so on. And I think they're just a perfect service for that. And they don't care what they destroy in the meantime, it seems like.
Oh, I think they're doing huge damage to Britain's image in America. A certain set of people there love thinking the royals are terrible people. It strikes me, though, so much of what Harry and Meghan Markle have done lately has been like to play themselves like characters in a reality show. It is bizarre because this footage includes supposedly private and intimate moments where, good heavens, there's actually a professional photographer there to snap this private moment. And then they snuck in a photographer to Buckingham Palace without the Queen's permission to photograph them going to meet her. It's all a very odd way of behaving and doesn't seem to me to be quite honest.
Well, honesty has never really been Harry and Meghan's strong suit, if we're being frank about things. I mean, a lot of the claims about their story have turned out to be fairy tales, whether that's them getting married in secret, which is something that Meghan said. The Archbishop of Canterbury has completely said that wasn't true. Various stories that Meghan's told about how, South African actors came up to her and congratulated her, suggesting her wedding with Harry was the equivalent to Mandela being freed. A conversation that gentleman has no actual knowledge of. It's also worth remembering the fact that this started supposedly with a great quest for privacy, that they left the royal family because they didn't want their privacy to be invaded. And yet 100 interviews, a Spotify podcast series, now a glitzy Netflix documentary later, it's turned into quite a curious quest for privacy, I think it's fair to say.
It's so weird too. Years of playing the victim. I mean, seriously, get a life. There are now reports that Harry's going to even talk about his stepmother, Queen Consort Camilla. How should the King and Prince William react to all this?
Well, as a Republican, I'm not often in the position of trying to give the royal family advice. One thing I will say, though, is that there's a difference between monarchy and celebrity. Sometimes, I think in recent years, particularly the younger royals, and Harry and Meghan are probably the most extreme example of that, have sometimes confused the two. But the thing is, Harry and Meghan are dealing with the kind of celebrity cycle, who's up and who's down, who's making a splash. Monarchy is about the long term. It's about maintaining that sense of stability. It's about rising above things. So if I was in their position, I would not indulge any of this, but also probably not give it too much of the attention it deserves. It doesn't deserve either.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right. Royal is what Royal does, and stop the whinging. Just go on with and do images of service. It has helped Harry and Meghan, though, their campaign to paint the royals as racist, that one of the palace staff, Lady Susan Hussey, was at a function at the palace hosted by the Queen Consort to promote campaigners against domestic violence. Reportedly asked one of the black guests there, Ngozi Fulani, where she and her family were really from. And Fulani wouldn't say, she was playing all stupidly coy. But she seems to have recorded the whole thing, said she was devastated since she was born in Britain. Hussey was sacked. But look at what Fulani was actually wearing at the palace. I mean, it seems to me she was actually advertising, screaming that her family was originally from Africa or the Caribbean and ask me, doesn't it?
I think so. I mean, it's also worth noting that the name she was given at birth was Marlene Headley. So she's definitely kind of upfronting her distant ancestry and then was quite shocked that someone asked about it. I just think this shows how contradictory so much is today. We're told to take interest in people's cultures, but you express that curiosity, you get branded a racist. So you can't win in this day and age, it feels like.
I think that's absolutely true. So true. I mean, I just think the poor Lady Hussey being set up. Apparently, the reports now that this so-called racist goes to a church in the area of Britain where the congregation is 90% black. That's how racist she is. I can't believe it. Tom Slater, always great to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time.